You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Through the eyes of Flora, a 13-year-old Russian boy, we enter Belarus during the Second World War. Taken from his family by Soviet partisans to help with the defense of their country against the Nazi German invasion, Flora is thrust into increasingly horrific scenarios in a brutal coming of age in the worst imaginable circumstances. Germany is set on a course of ethnic cleansing and wiping out the villages of Belarus. We witness Flora's loss of innocence and indeed watch his visible aging as the film continues to challenge us to come and see. A biblical reference to the book of Revelations and a call to watch the four horsemen of the apocalypse as they destroy the world. Alright, so this film by some people has been, labelled as the best war film ever made. And from my limited knowledge of war films, I would have to agree at this stage. It's incredibly powerful as a film in a way that I don't think that has really been shown, certainly not in American films. And to me, that's owing a great deal to the fact that this was based on a novella written by someone who was a partisan during the Second World War, and also the director was, I think his name's Elem Klimov or something along those lines. He actually grew up during the Nazi invasion of the USSR. So there's a certain rawness to the film in terms of just everything, really. I mean, I think the actors must have gone through absolute hell in terms of the filming and what they were put through, emotionally and so forth. They actually did fire real bullets during the film at different points. The actors were asked to walk through swamps of freezing cold water. They were both first-time actors. And it's just, it's just an extraordinary film, I think, and one that's also influenced some Hollywood films, particularly Saving Private Ryan. The much touted opening sequence to me owes quite a bit to this film. So I definitely put it up as the best war film I've ever seen, and possibly the best film I've ever seen at this stage. So, over to you guys, especially you, Ellie. I'd like to hear your opinions first.
Yeah, me too.
I'm wondering if I flash my breast, is that going to make what I'm about to say better?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. My watching of this film and my now opinion of this film, it was hard for me to really kind of clarify how I felt about this film, because if the director's idea was to make a film that was so kind of chaotic and messy and it's just this mash of a kind of story, which reflects what war is like, or reflects what it would feel like to be in a war, then for me the film is it could be touted as brilliant. But when I watched it, I was asking the questions of, is it a heightened reality? Is it a realistic piece? I mean, it's based on history, so you can't subtract that from it, and that's powerful, and that's affects me. But I didn't care about any of the characters, so when stuff happened to them, I was kind of like, well, who is this film for? And what journey are they asking the audience to come on with them, in a way? And so if the director's made this film to share his view of war, and I don't know, I didn't really like it at all. Like, I kind of watched it and and for what it's worth, I'm disappointed that I didn't like it. but I didn't like it. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the story. I thought I did deal with a very important issue, but that pretty much, was the end of it for me. And I found watching it a real trial. Like, to get to the end, I was like, when it ended, I went, thank God it's over.
Yeah, well, this is the Fabs trilogy, so coming to the end of a pretty heavy set of
harrowing set of films.
Yeah.
But still very important to watch, very important to watch, and I don't negate that at all.
I found it hard to place in terms of the lexicon of war films, in terms of the time that it was made and how that influenced other films, like you pointed out. I don't really see the Saving Private Ryan, the opening of Saving Private Ryan. I don't see the correlation there, because that's very. We were talking about it before, but we were talking about how it was. The handheld stuff puts you in there, and I found that that's very chaotic. But I found that Come and See is all very staged shots, very. Very pure shots, and no sort of real movement. Even when they're tracking, the crowd of villagers with the guns. I mean, that's still very smooth. Not very. I didn't find it too jerky. There's a couple of spots here and there, but overall, I found it all very. The photography I found very appealing.
Yeah.
In that sense. I didn't really notice any music. I have to say that if there's a score there, then hats off to them, because it put me in there. If there wasn't one, or if there was one, I was definitely in the film. I kind of see what you're saying.
Yeah, and I didn't even talk about the sort of the photography or the cinematography. And I agree, with you that it's shot
very well.
Well.
Yeah.
For me personally, it wasn't anything outstanding. It was kind of a functional. There are a few moments where I thought, nice, beautiful shot.
No, I see what you're saying about the stories and the characters, because it actually took me about 20 minutes or so to get a hold on what was going on and where it was going. Because it was I don't want to give too much away, but the kids looking around the field for the guns and whatnot. And then suddenly we're off to the villages in the forest, and then we're back to the one kid, and just quickly on him, he is amazing. He's sensational. He is absolutely what he went through, and you can see it on his face. It's like he's really, there's no performance there at all. He's just like, I'm jacking this buddy, and he's like, I'm jacking this film.
The director actually tried to use hypnosis on him as so that he wouldn't be aware of what was going on in some of the horrible scenes, but it didn't work on him. So
we've got hypnosis, real bullets, freezing cold water.
Yeah, swamp water.
How old was he? 13? How old was he?
Around 13. He's playing a 13-year-old, but I think he may have been a little bit older.
He looked maybe 15 or 16.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, he's looking 60, 70. He is. He's just, he's really sad.
Yeah, it's a harrowing journey for him. Yeah.
In terms of the story, it's interesting because I don't really see that. We haven't really. There's certainly not many war films that deal with the Russian or the Belarusian side of the story, side of the whole equation there. So I found that historically very informative.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I do see what you mean, Eleanor, about that as well. I think to some extent, maybe we're not meant to sort of identify with the lead character as much. It is more, given the title, I would say that it is more a thing of witnessing as opposed to identifying and going in there. So
no, I get that. I see that.
Yeah, but
I can't see that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I do take your point about what you were saying about it not exactly matching up with Private Ryan. Like, to me, the opening sequence of Private Ryan, sorry, just to go off topic a little bit, is a bit of a meshing between this and also Akira Kurosawa's Ran, if you've seen that. Yeah, and that does, God, it's been a few years now, but I'm sure that does have some handheld stuff, but it's particularly the sound design and so forth, and yeah, those sorts of elements that are really, I feel that did definitely influence it. So.
I actually found a little bit of a correlation between this and Bashir.
Oh, right.
In terms of you know, the conflict and the one person's journey, even though in Bashir it's told in sort of disjointed flashback.
Yeah.
And this one is basically a narrative all the way through from start to finish. That one person's journey of war.
Yeah.
I found that there a little bit of correlation there.
Yeah, I think. Well, they're both very personal films. You know, as I was
Yes.
saying, yeah, they're very.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I can say I'm glad that we're through the trilogy of Fabs now. No offense to Fabs, but it's hard going.
Festival of Fabs.
That's right.
All right.
Like
Well,
the festival that wants me to off myself.
all right. Well, to explain myself, I've picked films that obviously that just have really affected me. That is what I love about films. Things that really do touch you, you know, and also ones that aren't widely known. So, yeah, I guess that's sort of why I went with my choices. I am sorry for having put you through that, but
I
yeah.
don't regret seeing any of those films. I took, really, strong reactions to all of them, whether they were, whether it was like absolute love or,
or come and see.
or go please. That's how I like to refer to it.
Anyway, shall we give this one the nails?
Yeah, and just quickly before I do, I'm just going to say that although the 3 films that I've reviewed are all in my top 10, I don't want to give any film a perfect 10 because I don't think that I am necessarily in a position to judge something as being perfect. So this one, along with the other 2 I've chosen, also gets a 9. So over to you guys.
8 from me, but
I'm going to give it a 5.
okay.
Mit dir. Pass auf den Fuß. Jetzt hat er die Fresse wert. Die reingehauene Rückhand. Ich finde das süß. Bitte recht freundlich. Mein erstes.
Well, goodbye.
Yes.
Thanks. Do you want to have a quick word on say where you're doing, where you're going, what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm just heading off to Sydney for 1 year to go and study sound for film. So hopefully next time I come back here, I'll actually know what I'm talking about. And yeah, no, but obviously I've loved discussing things with you, and we'll definitely look forward to doing so in the future.
He'll be back on a cameo.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And this way, at least you have one guaranteed viewer.
It's been
we know you're watching this and you're like, that's rough. You can write in to nailingflicks@gmail.com.
That's right,
and tell us how unfair that was. All 2 of you.
So it's been great reviewing with you as well. Thanks for putting us through the ringer on those last 3. That's absolutely devastating.
Yes, thanks.
And awesome at the same time. Thanks for that. So good luck in the future.
Yes, thank you.
See you next time. Don't forget to, as we mentioned before, nailingflicks@gmail.com if you want us to review anything. We shall do so in the future. And don't forget the Osgers competition is coming up as well. So goodbye.
So join the Facebook page.
Join the Facebook page.
It's OZGERS.
Thank you very much. The Osgers. So thanks, Fabs.
Yep.
Adieu. Au
We
revoir.
salute thee.
Au revoir, as we say. Hopefully we'll see you in future.
Yeah, no, you most definitely will.
So that's it from us.
All
Good night.
right.
Goodbye.
See ya.